All right, let's get into it. Today, we're breaking down the full story of Trap House, an action thriller that kicks off with a wild premise. A group of teenagers starts robbing dangerous drug cartels. But stick around, because there's a shocking twist that changes everything.
I mean, just imagine that for a second. That's the terrifying question right at the heart of this movie. It sets up a conflict that's so much more complicated than just a simple game of cops and robbers.
So our story starts in El Paso, Texas. The DEA is closing in on a major cartel, and they're about to launch this huge, high-stakes raid that will, you guessed it, set this entire crazy story in motion.
And what's wild is just how fast it all falls apart. The DEA's plan seems totally solid, but the cartel is way ahead of them. They walk straight into an ambush, and in the chaos, a dedicated agent, a guy named Manny, is killed. And that one single event, that's the spark that lights the fuse for the entire film.
That loss hits the community hard, especially the younger generation. See, the death of Agent Manny becomes deeply personal for a teenager named Cody, whose dad was Manny's best friend. Cody is watching all this happen, and he just sees the system failing. His best friend Jesse just lost his father, and the official support is pretty much nothing. So fueled by that grief and this burning rage, he decides to take matters into his own hands and cook up his own brand of justice, with a plan that is both brilliant and incredibly reckless.
Of course, he doesn't do it alone. He puts together a whole crew. But here's the kicker. They aren't just any teens. This is the crucial part. Most of them, including Cody, are the children of other DEA agents. They've literally grown up in this world, and they're about to use that inside knowledge against the very people their parents hunt.
So how in the world do they pull this off? Well, their plan is basically a modern-day Robin Hood scheme. They use their parents' access to swipe intel and gear, then they pinpoint the cartel's trap houses, where they stash all their cash. They rob them blind, and then they funnel all that money to Manny's grieving family. And you know what? For a little while, it actually works.
But that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? They're playing this insane game on two different fronts. How long can a bunch of teenagers possibly keep this up before the whole thing comes crashing down on top of them?
Because you see, what they've done doesn't just disappear. They've basically created a massive pressure cooker in El Paso, kicking off this completely chaotic three-way war.
You've got these three groups locked in a really dangerous dance. First, you have the DEA, and they're hunting both the cartel and this mysterious new crew of thieves. Then you've got the cartel, who are absolutely furious, trying to hunt down the teens while also fighting the DEA. And then, caught right in a crossfire, are the teens, just trying to get some justice and, stay alive. It's a game where everybody is both the cat and the mouse at the same time.
And let me tell you, the cartel is not messing around. Their second in command, a woman named Natalia Cabrera, is absolutely ruthless. She launches this bloody, violent campaign to figure out who's stealing from them. And all of a sudden, these kids aren't just facing jail time anymore, they're facing execution. Okay, so now let's switch gears and focus on the lead DEA agent, Ray Seal. He's a good agent, a dedicated guy, and he's leading the investigation into these new thieves. But as he gets closer to the truth, he's about to uncover something that will completely shatter his world. The first clue starts to really bother him. This new crew, they seem to know DEA tactics inside and out. It's like they can anticipate every single move the agency makes. It's uncanny.
And it's not just the tactics. Their execution is perfect. They move like a team of trained professionals, hitting targets just moments after new DEA intel comes in. I mean, how is that even possible? For Ray, the lead agent, none of the pieces are adding up. The answer feels impossible, completely unbelievable. And it's been staring him right in the face this whole time.
And then, the gut punch, the big reveal. The criminals they've been chasing, this highly effective, elusive, professional crew, were their own children. And the mastermind behind it all, Ray's very own son, Cody.
This discovery just throws Ray into an impossible situation. On one hand, you've got his duty as a DEA agent, uphold the law, arrest his son for serious federal crimes. On the other hand, his duty as a father, protect his kid from a cartel that will absolutely kill him. So what do you do? What can you do?
Well, there's no time to figure it out, because all three of these factions are now on a direct collision course, careening towards one final, explosive showdown.
The cartel finally gets a lock on the teens' location while they're in the middle of another robbery. They move in, fast and hard, ready to wipe them off the map for good.
But at the exact same moment, Ray's DEA unit, acting on their own intel, is closing in on that very same spot, totally unaware of who they are about to find inside.
This is it. The climax is just a frantic race against time. Ray realizes his son is about to be trapped in a deadly crossfire between the cartel and his own DEA team. His choice is pretty much made for him. He has to get his son out of there alive.
So, after all that chaos and violence, the dust eventually settles, and now everyone is left to deal with the fallout of what just happened.
And this is what the film is really about, you know? It's not just a straightforward action movie, it's digging into some deep questions. Where does your true loyalty lie? With your family or with your badge? What happens when good intentions pave the road to deadly consequences? And how is that bond between a parent and a child tested by secrets and this unimaginable level of danger?
Ultimately, Trap House leaves us with this one really provocative question. It forces you to ask yourself, when the official systems of justice completely break down, does that unspoken law of family loyalty become the only one you're willing to die for?